Welcome to the Be Empowered podcast with your host, Graham Hopkins. My goal is to help you regain your power by bridging the gap between who you think you are right now and who you really are. In simple language, that is like making your childhood dreams come true. This is for those who want to make an impact in their lives but don't know how to get there. Be ensured, when you know and feel connected to your spiritual mind, you master your world.
So, Amir, in one of your recent blogs, and by the way, I'll put this link below this podcast, it starts off by saying, a true decision cannot be influenced by what may be going on externally. All true decisions are made from a feeling within which has not been influenced by the external. A true decision is one that comes from an inner, authentic place. Great blog, by the way.
Thanks.
A lot of people have troubles with decisions. What word of advice can we give our viewers in regard to feeling at ease, complete in making a decision?
You know, this is very, very interesting. I talk about this in one of my coaching programs. Anytime you're making a decision, you are making a limited one. Every single time you make a decision, you are making a decision of, should I do this? Should I not do this? Is this going to be better? Is this going to be worse? You know, is it right? Is it wrong? What I'm trying to show you is that the decision that you're making is from a space of duality. It's from two. Yes, no. Right, wrong. Better, worse. And when you're making a decision from that physical plane, you're always making a decision that's a limited one. You can't make the wrong decision because everything is in complete balance and harmony, right? Now, I know in your mind you build up this whole idea, but this is a really big decision. This is, the truth is there is a part of you that is already decided, okay? When something's infinite, Graham, when something is infinite, it doesn't decide. You see, this cannot be described in words. And an infinite source doesn't decide, because if you're deciding, then you're deciding on something, like it's duality. Because if you're deciding, it means you have an option between two things, right? Or maybe 3, 4, 5, whatever. But you have an option between two things. That's duality. That's a finite decision. A part of you that's infinite does not decide on things. You just you realize that it is decided. Like, if I could explain this in a human sense, how many times in our lives have you just, like, you're doing something and someone goes to you, why did you do that? And you're like, I don't know, I just found myself doing that. You see, what about the person who jumps into a burning house, right? And the news cameras are going, you're a hero, what were you thinking? And they were like, I don't know, I didn't have a choice. I just did it. I didn't think. In other words, I was not being the finite being deciding, should I do this or should I not, right? And you always know when you're deciding from the infinite space because it feels like you don't have a choice. In other words, you are not in a place of deciding whether you should do this or not, because it is already decided that you're doing it. And when I say it is already decided, I'm not talking about some other being that is deciding it. You are that other being. You see, because people don't like to hear what I'm saying, because then they think, well, do I not have control? Yes, but who you think you are doesn't have control. It never did. It is decided. There's part of you that is decided, it's, and when I use the word, you don't have a choice, sometimes people go, well, that sounds terrible. But it's like if I could give another reference point, it's like falling in love. You never decided to fall in love. It's not like you were sat there and went, wow, I really like this person because they're really attractive and they're really good in bed or they're really the good listener. And those are just reference points you found after to justify why you're feeling the love for them. Can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The truth is, you just realize that you are in love with them. You realize that you love. So my point is, you didn't decide. The main point I'm getting at here, although you had no choice, you didn't mind. You know, it's like I had no choice in the matter, but I didn't mind. You know, I loved that.
So when you feel connected, you're compelled to fulfill your desires. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Like when you're connected, that you are continuously bringing your desires out. You're continuously doing what you love to do, and that could be nothing though. You could be doing nothing and experiencing complete fulfillment for no reason. It's very interesting.
Amir, I know this is like another whole interview, but I just want to explain to the listeners and the viewers that I believe you are the best teacher on the difference between duality and oneness.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just give us a glimpse of what that actually means so that people can come to your website and learn more about it?
Well, here's the thing. Not everyone's ready to hear what I've got to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll come to my website and they'll either go, like they've got no choice, like, this is what I've been looking for. Or they'll come there and find reasons of why he's not authentic or it's too expensive. Or they'll just find reasons to support why it's not for them. So, and that's fine because I'm only looking for people who are looking for me or looking for what we're speaking about. Not necessarily me, but the content. And this is why it's not for everyone. Because for you to really grasp what I'm actually saying here, you have to really transcend who you think you are. And to do that, as they say in a lot of spiritual texts, they say you must die before you die. And what that means is that the identity dies. So in a lot of day-to-day conversations and teachings today, in this moment of time, people have begun to speak about oneness. And even one of your questions you just asked me before, you said, do you believe that we are all connected? And I said, yes, I believe we are all connected. And I smiled because there's so much more to say around that. Because that's the way somebody understands oneness or understands truth. But you cannot understand oneness.
You have to experience it.
Absolutely. So here's the experience, right? I can't give you the experience, but if I can give you, I just give reference points. Most people understand oneness from a kindergarten level. And the kindergarten level is, oh, yes, I believe that we are all connected. You know, I believe you're sitting over there and I'm sitting over here and we are connected, which is true, right? But it's not the whole truth, okay? Because if you want the whole truth, see, that understanding of oneness is an understanding of oneness in duality, which means, I can still exist. I'm here. Graham, you're there. I believe I can feel you in our words, in the conversation. I can feel our connection. So therefore we are connected. And therefore we are all connected, right? But for someone to die before they die, or for someone to experience oneness, you're no longer experiencing oneness. You become the one. You become the one energy. And I feel that we all came here to become the one. In many spiritual or even religious texts, they talk about the one is going to return. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whatever it is, the prophet will return, right? And for me, what that means is that you, individuals, have becoming to realize they are not the drop of the ocean, but they are the entire ocean moving the drop. Can you see? So in order for that to happen, you or your idea of who you are can no longer exist. You see, if I'm over here and you're over there and we're connected, that's two drops amongst the ocean. You must realize that you as this drop doesn't exist. You must die before you die and realize that you are the one ocean that is moving the drop.
So
you see,
so
yes.
the drop is our identity that we've formed over time. So
Yeah.
what I'm seeing here is that if you plant a seed in the ground, it has to die before it actually breaks out and comes to life to create a tree or a plant. It's the same principle, yeah?
Yeah. The plant, for it to start, it will sprout, but it will change the form from the seed to a leaf, or and to become life. So, yeah. So that's my explanation of oneness in a short amount of time. It's yes, we are all interconnected, but for you to really realize infinity and experience, like you said, the word, for you to experience oneness, there is no you. Can you imagine your life and what it would feel like and what it would look like if there was no you? Like, people can't even imagine that. They're like, well, if there was no me, there'll be nothing. But just imagine if you just took the word I out. Like, what will become important for you if you just took your identity out, just away? Like, what? It's amazing. It's a good question for people to ponder on. Is what would it look like if it was no me? If there was no identity. Like, you're still here, but no identity. It's like someone's passed away, but you can still feel them. So I know that the first reaction is like, well, hang on, if there was no me, there would be no world, or there would be no reality, there would be no existence. But what about the person who passes away? They're no longer here, but you still feel them. So there's still something there. And if you can, ponder on that question, I mean, who is here without me, without this identity?
Amir, we started off talking about your desires to fly from an early age, which I find amazing because quite often we have these desires deep within us right from an early age, and they don't come to fruition until later in life. My question here in bringing this to a close is that a lot of people don't know what their desire is. It's almost like it's veiled and they can't see it.
Yeah.
What would you suggest they do? In other words, they can't connect with their desires because they don't know what they are.
Well, look for the thing that you love that has no reason. Like, I mean, even right now, I have started my pilot training. I started September last year, and I refuse to give reason to why I fly. I love flying. I love it like anything, right? Which I'm sure you can understand. But as I'm going along, I'm realizing, okay, I've got back to where I was before, where I left when I was 16. Okay, I've now got my private pilot license. Okay, and I'm just leaving it in the moment. I'm not looking for, well, where is this going, right? And you see, that's when people lose what they love. I'll come back to finding what you love to do, but the first thing is why people lose it. Because the moment, something starts to happen, they look for reason, they look for something where they can keep it. But the love, you never decided that you love flying. I never decided. I realized that I love flying. The love will continue to flow from the very first space that it arrived within you, like a seed, So I then, after getting my private pilot license, I then decided, I felt, what's next, right? Without looking for the answer, because we use our mind here to ask the question, but not to find the answer. Let the answer come within our heart. I just go, well, where am I going now? I got my private pilot license. Just before I got my private pilot license, actually, my next feeling was to do aerobatic flying. Now, I had never had any interest in aerobatic flying, but I check in within me and I go, oh, there's a love to do aerobatic flying. And I'm like, oh, what is that about? Because I'm not even into that. And then I realized I was into it. So my first response to your question is, don't look for reasons for the very things that you love to do. The second thing is, find the things that you love that has no reasons. If you still can't find the things that you love, when I say find the things that you love that has no reasons, that means don't just look for things that you love as a career, as purpose. Look for things that you love in your everyday moments. Look at a shirt that you love to wear. Look at it. You might like to get up and watch the sunrise. That's doing what you love to do. People think there's just this big thing I got to do. I gotta accomplish. No, do the thing you love because you love it, not because you have to accomplish. The accomplishment comes with it when you're doing what you love to do. And if you still can't find what you love, it's because it's buried under all the things that you think you need to do in order for you to do what you love. So start working backwards by knocking off or stop doing some of the things that you're doing that you think you need to in order for you to do your love. When people go, well, I'm not ready yet. When I first wanted to speak and become a public speaker, when I felt moved to speak, I was like, well, I'm not ready to speak. I haven't done any speakers training. I don't know as much as all these other speakers, Move away from those thoughts, Move away from the things that you create for yourself. In order for me to do what I love, I must first do this. I love the one, well, I'm doing it as a means to an end. It's like, stop doing the things from a means to an end. Like, stop doing the things slowly. You don't have to all stop, The reason you don't feel the love is because it's buried underneath all the things that you're doing out of need. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. It's not that the love's not there, it is there. But you're doing all these things that you think you need to do in order for you to have what you love. And if you stop doing some of those things, you start to work yourself backwards and start to realize, oh, I love this, And my biggest thing is, don't look for the big thing. Right now, I am getting involved in the aviation industry. I love flying. I don't know. I have a feeling that I would be involved at a deeper level. Maybe I would have an aviation company. Maybe I don't know. But I can sense that I'm getting drawn deeper because I love flying. And, there's one thing to love flying, but then if I was involved in a business of some sort, not because I want to make money necessarily, it's because when I involve business into what I love to do, you go even deeper into it, you get more connected to it. So, but I'm not looking for the reason, the only decision that I make up here is I decide to follow the feeling that was already decided. When I feel, oh, I'm doing aerobatics, and when I say, oh, I'm doing aerobatics, it's not like people sometimes think, oh, well, you're doing aerobatics and you didn't even feel to do that. No. I realized that I felt that I love aerobatics. You see, it's not like I'm doing something against my will. The will comes to me, and I realize I have a will to do aerobatic flying, which would have never ever interested me, right? So all I do is decide to follow the decision that is already made for me to do that.
Well, that's exactly how this Be Empowered show has come about. It's something that I really love to do. I love interviewing guys like you and girls, and out of that came this show. Now, if it doesn't become a hit, it really doesn't worry me, because I'm still doing what I love.
Yeah.
And I have no agenda with this. So, that's probably a good example of what you're talking about.
Yeah. Can I give you one more reference point to that as
Sure.
well? I had a friend of mine who in the US I caught up with once not long ago, and she was a little bit nervous about her new book coming out. And I said, "What are you nervous for?" She goes, "Well, I don't know how it's going to do. I don't know if it's going to do well. I don't know if it's going to fail." And I said, "But that's not why you did it." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Okay, tell me how you felt when you write that book." I mean, she was just about to finish. "Tell me how you feel when you're writing that book." She goes, "I feel alive, I feel love, I feel light." And I go, "That's why you're writing the book." Do you see? It's right there. When you're finished writing that book, what happens to you is none of your business. Don't worry about that. You see, you're doing it. You're doing it because when you're writing that book, I'm speaking to you because when I'm speaking to you about this, I feel free, I feel alive, I feel connected, I feel one. Can you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's not about, well, hang on, I did that, so what happened? Well, what happened was you felt alive, you felt joy, you felt, empowered, like all the things that you're looking for. But the mind kicks in and goes, yeah, but something's meant to happen with that product. The agenda kicks in, and goes, but what if people don't like the book? No, but you didn't write it for the people. You wrote it for yourself. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
So it's really another little observation, and I thought I'll share.
Yeah, excellent. Amir, while you've been talking, it appears to me that there's a connection between people's needs and dualism. What is that connection?
What do you mean?
How are they related? It seems to me that when you talk about this dualistic state of mind, it's almost like that's creating the needs in a person's life.
The dualistic, to me, the dualism is a playground. It's where one drop of the ocean can realize that it is not the drop, but it is the ocean. And another drop of the ocean, that's two, dualistic, can realize it is also the ocean. So it's where the game begins. To me, we manifested dualism, so we we, and I can't use the word we right there, but it's one ocean, two drops. The two drops realize it is the ocean, and they have the experience of being infinite within the finite world. You see what I'm trying to say? We came here to be infinite, right? Where we came from was infinite. We had to manifest the idea that we are finite. Finite is dualistic. When you don't know who you are, and you're in dualism, all you fall under is need. I need to do this, I need to survive, I need to, But to me, when you realize who you are, the world of dualistic world becomes about playing. It's a becoming about being infinite in a finite world. It's just a game. You're here to play. And what are you going to play with? Just whatever it is that you love. That's it. But if you don't know yourself, then you are continuously drawn by imprisonment of the identity, and you're continuously falling under need, and the need to survive, the need to be loved, the need to be recognized, the need to be accepted, the need to have approval, the need, So, but when you realize who you are, love becomes your experience. So you don't need to find love. You are naturally safe, so you don't need to feel secure based on what's going on in the story. So all these things melt away, and you become free to be your authentic self, to be yourself, your truest self, and that's where the game becomes. That's where the game starts. It's just the world is, as Emerson, who said that? Not Emerson. That was the world is just a stage, and we're merely actors on it. Who said that? That was I forgot his name now. Mind blank.
That's okay. Do you think that this separation that you talk about with the first statement in your book, that is creating our needs?
If you think who you are is what is the separate, what is the individual, then you are bound by needs. Okay? But if you know who you are no longer the separate. You are using the solid, the physical to play your game. You're still going to be here. You're still here in dualistic world. You're here to experience, I'm over here, you're over there. But if you're free, then you're free to experience what shows up, the game that you came here to play. Yeah.
Amir, this has been a fascinating interview. I know, and you probably know, that we could chat all day about this.
Yeah.
But your time is limited, and there's obviously going to be a small percentage of people watching this or listening to it that this message really clicks with.
Yeah. And
they want to know more. Where can they get in touch with you?
It's just go to my website. It's amirzoghi.com. So it's AMIRZOGHI.com. Or if they don't remember that name, you can always go to BeFreePeople.com, which forwards to AmirZoghi.com. Be Free People is my company. But everything's on my website. I mean, these days, I don't do many programs. I have all my programs online. So people from around the world watching, doing coaching programs with me, or watching my signatory programs called the WTF Experience, which goes deeper into everything that we've been speaking about right now. And that's probably the best place is the website. You'll find what you're looking for there.
Excellent. So at this stage, I'd like to thank... by the way, Amir, we'll have those links below the podcast.
Okay.
So
great.
People can just click on it and seek more information. But I'll take this opportunity to thank everybody for being involved in this Be Empowered show. I'm your host, Graham Hopkins. Before we go, could I ask you to do one big favour for me, and that is to leave a review on iTunes, because the more popular this becomes, the greater the larger will the audience base be, and then this message, which is obviously so important, will get out to more people. If you'd like to hear more of the concepts that Amir and myself have shared today, like being one, feeling connected, feeling worthy, being in the flow, we've mentioned all these today, you can go to Amazon and purchase my book called The Manifesto of Your Inspirational Mind, or you can download a free ebook called Know Your True Value and Worth at www.beempoweredgroup.com. So thanks everybody. On behalf of our guest Amir Zoghi and your host Graham Hopkins, we both wish you a wonderful future of freedom, peace, abundance and oneness.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the Be Empowered podcast. For more on regaining your power by bridging that gap between who you think you are right now and who you really are, go to www.beempoweredgroup.com and enter your name and email address to receive a free ebook and get notified of any upcoming podcasts. Remember, when you know and feel connected to your spiritual mind, you master your world. Changing your energy transforms your life.